All right, hey kids. I'm doing a Patreon only video showcasing how I edit a clip or how I edit a podcast. This was requested by Zach, so I figured it's good to change it up. Maybe enter in my fucking world and see how I do these things, because I think people wonder about it, like how do you actually do a podcast? Well, I'm gonna go through that right now, and essentially what it is we record the podcast, and the hard part is essentially getting everybody on the same page to make the audio as good as possible. As you've heard in the past, it doesn't always work, and I make jokes about it all the time on the podcast because I think it's humorous to fucking do. And you don't always have to be perfect. A lot of people try to pretend like they're perfect on this shit, but it's a challenge. Like the doing the podcast has gotten easier over time, but there's a learning curve with it, and it's kind of annoying, honestly, especially when people aren't fucking just listening. Like, keep your head at a certain distance from the microphone. Don't yell into it. If you're gonna yell, fucking pull your head away and scream to the side. I try to do that. In this episode, I didn't really do that too well because we were having a good time. You'll hear this episode at some point, but it's a good little episode. It's about the coronavirus and some other stuff like bone trading and shit like that. Haven't come up with a name yet. Maybe you could suggest it once you hear it. But yeah, so let's go through this. I uploaded the clip from today. This was a Friday the 13th recording. It's about the legalities of bone trading as well as people in the coronavirus, because it's relatable to the current situation in the United States and how people shouldn't freak out and they should just wash their fucking hands because you're dirty animals, you motherfuckers. Yeah, so we recorded this today. It was a lot of fun. This is the first time we actually did like a scripted keynote type of thing of what we want to go to, just so we can stay on a little bit more track. We're also going to do these free flow ones and then crazy shit like Mole People and Florida Man and stuff like that. Like, we'll do more of those. But we're trying to do at the home studio, we're trying to do some structured shit and make the podcast more professional than it already is, that we try to make it. So this is the clip from today, uploaded it, and we're going to do a little editing. So as you see here, there's some highs, there's some lows, and it's pretty consistent unless you go to here, and then it's a little bit different than, say, over here. It's just a little bit different. So essentially what we want to do is we want to get all of this shit to line up almost the same and make a consistent level of audio. So I will highlight all this stuff. I'll go to effects. Oh, let me talk about this first. This program is called Audacity, and it's free download. If you want to start a podcast, you can get this at Audacity, I think .org or something like that. Just Google Audacity if you want to start doing your own podcast. Download this, and this is how we record. I record everything on a DAR, which is a digital audio recorder, and this thing is a massive thing. You can look it up on Amazon. It's called the Tascam DR40X linear PCM recorder. I think it ran about $180 when I got it, and it's the shit. It will record like 99 hours of stuff. Yeah, like right now it says 99, 59, 59, and that's, I mean, depending on your memory card, because it just takes SD cards, you can record for fucking days. So, I'm going to highlight this clip, and I'm going to compress it. We'll see what happens there. And that essentially makes the lows high and the highs low, and evens everything out, makes it all kind of the fucking match, so it's all similar. So I want to take all that audio and make it basically the same consistency you see across the board. You'll see it jump like that. But that's too loud, and I'll play that for you.
Completely illegal, so we're not advising that. But if you want a skeleton, where do you think you could look?
Okay, so that's a little bit too loud for my taste. Where I want to, my sweet zone is basically between 0.5 and negative 0.5. I want to have the audio not outside of that, because this will blow out your speakers. If I leave it like this, I just upload this, it'll blow out your speakers and not be cool for anybody. I want to keep it generally between here and here. So what I do is essentially go into effects, and I go amplify. Now that doesn't make sense. Like, you're going to make it louder. I go negative 3 on that, so it'll bring the amplification down to negative 2.4 off 0. 0 is basically the baseline, and that's where it's going to be loud as fuck in your car. So people try to generally, myself and some other people I know, they try to keep around negative 3. Now we'll see here that this doesn't necessarily work the way you want it. So we'll go negative 3 on that. We'll drop the amplification down to a negative 3, and Still, I don't really like those numbers because that's still too loud for my taste. So,
Well, no. You're correct. Most bones, because you can.
it's a little too loud for my taste. So I'm going to go a little bit more. I'm going to undo that just so I don't mess anything up. I'm going to go here and then go effect, amplify, and I'll go -6. Not there. Sorry. I'm going to go here, -6, and that brings it down to a -5.4. Seems like it should be good, and I'll show you what that looks like. That is just about correct. That sound, I think, is great. So we'll go here.
You could.
What's the end
Might not
state?
be legal.
The end state.
So essentially, right there, I would consider that because it's me and Mark recording. We both know what we have to do as far as keeping our heads a certain distance from the microphones. No yelling. If you do yell, you pull your head away a little bit. You can laugh loud. You can scream, but you got to do certain things. We both generally understand how that goes. We've been doing it for a little bit of time together. We work well together, as you guys have heard. So audio is not really a problem. This right here is essentially a uploadable podcast. I would be comfortable if I was crunched for time. I'd be able to upload this and be happy with it. I just do a little clever description and whatnot, and I'd be good to go. But I'm going to go one step further, and I'm going to do noise reduction, which basically takes out all the ambient noise in the background and makes it that much sweeter, because I think you'll be able to see here that there's a lot of nonsense going on. If you look over here where the mouse is, you can essentially see that there's audio being produced. Let's hear that again. That's just general background noise that fucking is happening, like my mouth or Mark's mouth, or somebody's putting a beer can down or something. Now, if I capture all that, it will definitely mess with the audio a little bit, and I don't want that, so I'll eventually start clip out shit like this. So I'll go like this, highlight a dead section, play that. You'll still see the audio go up, but what I'll do here is I'll go into this, and I'll go noise reduction. I'll get that profile. Essentially, it's scanning that, and let me do that again, because I don't think it got it, actually. It's basically scanning that section of the track, figuring out what's in there, and you go in here and do noise reduction again, and then you go to step 2 and go okay. It searches the whole track in about 30 seconds. If it's an hour long, it's about 30 seconds. It will find every instance of audio that sounds just like this section, and it will remove it. And that's even when you're talking, without distorting your audio and your voice and how you're talking. Which is awesome, because then you could have, you know, a beer fridge in the back like we do in the studio, and it's not going to fuck up the recording. And it just makes the audio that much cleaner. So I'll go here again where I was, and I'll play that. And then you generally see it's a little bit better. It's not going to remove all of the audio, but you can't hear anything. Well, you can hear a little bit, but it's better than it was. Let's go here. It's a little bit better. All right. And that will show when the whole audio is uploaded and it's in high quality format. And that's generally it. I'll just finish the video here because this shit's kind of boring. But as you can see, I look for this. Is it consistent across the board? Is it within these brackets right here, 0.5 and -0.5? Is it look clean? Is there anything that's like crazy high, crazy low? And this looks good. I can tell visually that this is going to be a good recording right here, just because of the consistent nature of it across the board from start to finish. It's not all high here and then fucking low down here. It seems to be just perfect. So as perfect as it can be. And so, yeah, that's essentially how I edit, minus including the end clips, like the intro and the outro. And like this episode is going to be an Evil Vibes episode. So because we're talking about some macabre type stuff, some ghoulish type shit, deathly death. And so I'll put Evil Vibes intro in the front, which I have that saved. That's a different clip than just the regular Vile Professional intro. And then I'll put the Patreon, as you guys love at the end. I'll put the Patreon, recording at the backside here. And I'll call that good. And I'll upload that in high quality format and WAV format in 16 bits. I don't go overboard because that file can get, let me see what it is. So I'll go export as a WAV, and then let's just see what that is. So if I go 32 bits and see what that episode saves as, let's see, I'll just go okay. That seems to be going well. Fuck me, right? That seemed to be all right, but there's no like real trouble with it. It's pretty simplistic clip. So that's essentially it, kids. Hope you enjoyed that video. That was requested by Zach, one of our patrons here. If you like this episode, feel free to let me know. If you think we could do more of this shit or you want me to do something different, just hit me up in a DM or a comment on this fucking video. If you're on YouTube watching this, please like and subscribe. If you're not subscribed, we need as many as we can so we can make this better and do more live shit. But I appreciate you guys as patrons. Thank you. See you later.